On this week's episode of The Pulse, Sacred Heart has new changes.
Find out how Sacred Heart may be falling short with sustainability.
Learn about the grant supporting students.
And get the rundown on Sacred Heart Sports. I'm Professor Greg Golda.
And I'm Professor Joe Alicastro. These stories and more on Sacred Heart's very own monthly news show.
All right, enough pretending. It's our time to shine.
Yeah, let's have the professionals take it from here.
This is all your fault.
And live from Fairfield, Connecticut, it's April Fool's.
All right, show's over.
Jokes. No April Fools anymore.
But the show's actually just starting. I'm Molly Jacob.
And I'm Brad Hutchison. You're watching The Pulse.
From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
The university has recently implemented a new to-go box policy at the 63's dining hall. But is this effort enough to keep SHU sustainable? Senior producers Brendan Williams and Isabella Fabo have the story.
Here at Sacred Heart, sustainability efforts are underway. Here at places like 63's Dining Hall with the new use of eco-to-go boxes and the addition of recycling bins in and around campus. Professor Èirinn McGovern's sustainability marketing class is working with the university on a plan to catch up for sustainability efforts.
I'm going to work with the university's committee on sustainability to try and offer direction and perspective from the students' body and on the students' voice, which I know the university listens to intently. And as a result, both the web design, the recycling issues, the messaging issues are all part of our agenda to try and bring a contribution towards the decision-making process that says this becomes policy.
A lot of other courses, like if I were to have this class with any other professor, I would suspect it would be a lot more about learning theories and you're taking tests and quizzes and reading out of a textbook. In this, we're not doing any of that. And it's more about trying to make a difference and actually applying some of the theories that we're learning and making practical use out of it.
I thought I honestly knew a lot about sustainability before the class, but coming into the class, I've learned a lot more, and I've noticed the areas that Sacred Heart is not very sustainable.
One of the biggest steps towards sustainability here at Sacred Heart has been the introduction of new plastic to-go boxes at 63's. But is the effort working well amongst students?
So I feel like coming from this class, it was kind of crazy because we had like 2 weeks of class or so, and then immediately after like 2 weeks of the class, we were talking about how there was really no sustainability effort. And then all of a sudden in the dining halls at 63's, they did the to-go boxes, which I think was a great idea. I don't know if I would have thought so if I wasn't in this class, because like I feel like I've been prioritizing sustainability recently. But like I said, I think it's a good idea, but a lot of people are not liking it.
There should be a specific plan around those boxes and how they are, number one, verifiable that it's working in 63s. And based on the student feedback, okay, this is not perfect. What do we need to adapt? And then adapt it in 63s before it's moved to other parts of the campus. But all of the plans for sustainable behavior need to be well thought through and providing evidence that they're functioning, that the students believe this is good for them.
But overall, the idea of it itself, I thought was great. It promotes a lot of good things that we're looking for in terms of keeping plastic and trash, minimizing that as much as possible, and doing things that are more reusable as opposed to just stacking up trash.
While positive changes have started to be made, some say there's still a lot the university could do to become more sustainable.
For me, any new construction now is to look at solar panels. Where are they integrated within the construction of that building that allows there to be a source of energy produced from sunshine that allows us to reduce our reliability on fossil fuel energy that's presumed. Second, wind turbines. Is there a possibility that on our campus that there's a space to say that ability is there for us? Third is electric buses. When we look at the shuttle system, where are we moving if we are moving from diesel buses, which are very harmful to the air pollution content, aside from the carbon? How do we replace these? Where do we get electric buses whereby we are seen to be taking big decisions that say, boom, they're practicing sustainability by everything they're doing? That's missing at the moment. That needs to come.
I think there's definitely a lot more to do. I think they haven't even scratched the tip of the iceberg in terms of what they could be doing. Their efforts in sustainability, there are efforts. I'm not saying that they haven't done anything at all, but I do think that they could be doing much, much more and being a lot more strategic about it.
I think we are seeing bits of changes. Like I noticed like the black and red recycling and trash bins, but like what else can we do? Like what sometimes I feel like students do need guidance because like we have so much on our heads. We kind of do need like that little push and drive to just be like, all right, let's do this instead.
It is important now more than ever to implement sustainability efforts here at Sacred Heart and at universities across the country as climate change continues to become a more dire situation.
On average, the Earth has increased by approximately 1.5 degrees centigrade over the last 30 years. That was the target set by the Paris Agreement in 2015 to be the maximum. We're heading for a target of between 3 and 3.5 degrees centigrade of a heat increase in the next 50 to 80 years. That is just very, very dangerous for our well-being and our ability to engage life as a society. So the call to action is today, and it's not about reflecting or pondering, it's about what we do.
The call to action is today, and with the right changes, Sacred Heart can do its part in protecting the environment and the place we call home. For The Pulse, I'm Brendan Williams with Isabella Fabo, Fairfield, Connecticut.
While Sacred Heart may have more work to do when it comes to sustainability, the university is making great strides in other areas. A recent mental health grant from the state of Connecticut will allow SHU to provide better resources for students. Molly Bruton has the story.
The Connecticut Office of Higher Education has awarded Sacred Heart University a $96,000 grant as part of the state's Higher Education Mental Health Services Initiative.
I think what people sometimes need is that trained supervision. Sometimes they need a coach, sometimes they need a teacher, sometimes they need a friend. And if I could just urge each and every one of you, be a friend.
These funds are meant to help colleges enhance prevention, early intervention, and access to care for students struggling with mental health issues.
My name is James Geisler. I am the Executive Director of Student Wellness Services here at Sacred Heart University. I've been in this role for a little over 3 years now, well, almost 3.5 years now, but I started my clinical career as an intern at Sacred Heart in 2013. So our office just received a grant for $96,000 from the Office of Higher Education. This was a grant that we applied for at the end of last year into the summer, but that we were recently awarded. So it was certainly very exciting when you get a grant.
The money given to Sacred Heart is a stepping stone as it will assist in the growth of programs on campus.
Hi, my name is Kayla Kutch and I'm the president of SWEET, which stands for the Student Wellness Education and Empowerment Team. And part of that team is we work on different programs that the Wellness Center offers, including the Green Bandana.
The Bandana Project is a national suicide prevention campaign under the nonprofit organization Suicide Awareness Voices of Education.
I think over the last year and a half of having the Green Bandana Project, it shows how much students are aware of resources we have here and shows that you're not alone. I love how we have that, our own little community here with the Green Bandanas.
Students on campus can be seen with green bandanas on their backpacks to show support for the cause.
I think having this program on campus as someone who struggles with their own mental health has been amazing because I feel less alone. And being able to be part of the program in a way of promoting it makes me feel so fulfilled in my position in SWEET. And I'm excited because we're already planning our next Bandana Week, which is going to be in April. To join the Green Bandana Project here on campus, all you have to do is come to an event where we're offering you the green bandanas, and all you do is take the pledge, which is just you saying that you're aware of the resources, you know what's offered here on campus, and you get the green bandana, you say the pledge, and you're in.
So the bulk of the money that we received is going towards prevention efforts, early education, health promotion efforts. You can imagine all the outreach efforts that you see on campus that come out of the Wellness Center. Those student-led initiatives, the Green Bandana Project that you'll see have a presence on campus, the Project Connect groups and the facilitators that are running those groups, and everything else out of the health promotion and prevention department is really where this money is going.
I think slowly I've just realized how much it's grown in the year and a half we've had it on campus, and it's been amazing.
I think the grant, it speaks volumes to the fact that we don't take a reactive approach to student mental health. We don't wait for students to struggle and just wait for sessions to come to the counseling center. I think that's kind of an old way of thinking about student mental health. I think there's opportunities, there's learning, there's resources that we could do to get in front of students and to have students do a lot of the programming as well. And I think that's really important. It shows what we value here is that we have skills and resources to help students, and yeah, we don't want them to struggle. We know that struggling is a part of coming to college, and we don't want to have it be that hard. We want to support student mental health, and this is a well-rounded approach, and we're happy that the university supports it, the Office of Higher Education supports it, and the time that went into this grant and will continue to go into the grant was certainly well worth it.
Reporting for The Pulse from Fairfield, Connecticut, I'm Molly Bruton.
It's great to see that students who need help can take advantage of this grant.
Yeah, the university really prioritizes mental health. My mental health has been on the decline ever since Molly said no to going to formal with me.
Oh, no comment. Well, when we get back, there will be more here on The Pulse. The pursuit of truth and knowledge.
Recognition of dignity and worth of every human being.
Promotion of the common good of society.
We're always evolving. Your passion should always change, right? Not to say that you should throw away your old passion. You know, they root you, they make you who you are. If I ever want to progress in life, I know that I have to learn new things, be understanding of different cultures, different backgrounds, different interests.
The lessons I learn at Sacred Heart can help me make a meaningful impact that it will lead me to do work that is good for every single person in the world.
I'm drawn to writing socially impactful pieces because theater, it speaks to broad audiences. They can learn from the piece, or they might sit there and say, I've been through that. Even if it's just one person, I feel like then it was a successful piece.
You are not only going to learn from other students, but you're going to learn about yourself.
I was always asking why, and I saw that with molecular and cellular biology, you go to the smallest detail of that why. In my future path, like, I hope to answer more of those whys.
Welcome back to The Pulse. On the topic of mental health, the Wellness Center is releasing a new video educating students on how to spend a night out of harm's way. Senior about where everybody knows SHU's name. Isabella?
Molly, it's kind of like NBC Cheers in Boston, but do you know the name of the bar exam? Now, I'm not talking about the law one, I'm talking about the safeties of alcohol use. This exam is now virtual, as residence halls, clubs, and organizations can practice how to be in the green zone if those 21 plus choose to drink. Presented by the Sweet Peer Educators, also known as the Student Wellness Education and Empowerment Team, they teach the likes, dislikes, and variables of a night out. Coordinator of the program, Karen Flanagan, wants students to have a positive reaction to their experience.
We like to use humor a little bit in the work that we do with students. Obviously, what happens at a bar? The idea of an exam is just having people give a little bit more intentional thought to behaviors they're engaging in around drinking, any strategies they might be using to reduce the likelihood of harm, and look out for both themselves and their friends. According to the CDC, more than 140,000 people die from excessive alcohol use in the U.S. each year. Those included an average of 26 years, 35 or older, and males, or diseases such as cancer, liver, and heart disease. And the NHTCA states 37 people in the U.S. die in drunk driving crashes every 39 minutes. We understand that a lot of students will choose to drink during their time at Sacred Heart, like all college students across the country. They learn from their peers because their peers might share something that they do to look out for their friends or to go out and have fun, but not sort of have the night get away from them or wake up the next morning with a lot of regrets. But we also really want to build a culture here at Sacred Heart where we're actively caring for each other. We also talk about the Good Samaritan policy, which is something that Sacred Heart offers their students, that if they're trying to help someone else, the consequences of anything that they would experience in terms of the judicial system and student conduct is going to look different than, if their motivation is to get help. Part of the exam also tests your blood alcohol content. Known as the BAC, this method applies science on how different factors affect your consumption. It also factors how long it would take for your total BAC to get back down to 0.0. Very typical behavior with a group of students is they sort of try to keep up with their friends But the truth is that depending on your, gender at birth, your weight, your height, your emotional state, there's a lot of different factors on any given day or with any given student that could radically change your experience of the amount of alcohol that you're having.
If you choose to drink, have fun, look out for your friends, and avoid the negative consequences. If you'd like to take the exam, contact Karen Flanagan with the information below. Now, raise your glass. For The Pulse, I'm Isabella Gatos, Fairfield, Connecticut. Cheers!
It's great that the university is taking steps to keep students safe.
Yeah, it's awesome that they provide resources to build our careers, drink responsibly, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, so let's find out more about how SHU helps students with their professional development. Here's Èirinn Gu Bràth with news you can use.
Thanks, Brad. Did you know that Sacred Heart provides many tools and resources to help students with their professional development? Well, SHU Center for Career and Professional Development provides weekly events and one-on-one sessions to help students succeed professionally. This includes assistance in finding internships, resume writing, job searching, interview practice, networking events, job fairs, graduate school options, one-on-one coaching, and so much more. So let's dive into some of the events they have coming up. If you're interested in landing an internship on Wall Street next summer, they'll be having a Wall Street Summer 2025 internship drop-in on April 3rd and 17th from 2 to 3 p.m. on West Campus in the East Building in room E1082. Thinking about being a teacher one day? Come to the Childhood Education Career event on April 22nd to April 26th to explore possible career opportunities in early childhood education and learn how to apply and interview for these positions. On Mondays through Fridays, stop by Linda's on the second floor from 12 to 1 p.m. and 4 to 5 p.m. to have your resume reviewed by one of their career ambassadors. This is available to all walk-ins and there is no appointment needed. They're also always putting on career and internship fairs, so stay up to date by following them on social media at SHUCareerDEV. You can also schedule an appointment online with SHUconnect.sacredheart.edu to get one-on-one help and coaching at your convenience, or you can just go explore their many online resources. And for those who are looking for tutors or study buddies, Sacred Heart provides peer and professional tutors from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week for free. Tutoring services are offered both in person and virtually. To sign up for tutoring, stop by the on-campus tutor locations in Martyri, the Office of Student Accessibility, the Multicultural Center, West Campus, or the library. You can also sign up online at sacredheart.edu under the Center for Teaching and Learning. For news you can use, I'm Èirinn Gu Bràth. Back to you.
Thanks, Elena. You know, Molly, those tips can be super helpful for people like you and me who are starting to enter our careers.
Absolutely. It can be scary to make those first few steps, but Elena narrowed it down perfectly to allow us to get the best tips.
I agree. When we get back, meet the professors showcasing a week-long look at Ireland.
And get a rundown on all things culture. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to The Pulse. With the spring season heating up, let's find out what the Pioneers have going on this week. Here's Jake with the SHU Sports Roundup.
Welcome to the SHU Sports Roundup. My name is Jake Carinelli. The softball team will be in action on Monday, April 1st at 2 p.m. You may have some trouble finding that game on the team schedule. That is because they do not play on Monday. April Fools! The softball team will be in action this week, however. They take on Central Connecticut State University for a doubleheader on Tuesday, April 2nd at 1 p.m. at Pioneer Park, as well as Wednesday, April 3rd at 2 p.m. They also will travel to Massachusetts to take on Merrimack College for a doubleheader on Saturday, April 6th at 1 p.m., as well as on Sunday, April 7th at noon. Staying on the diamond, the baseball team will be in action on Tuesday, April 2nd against Stony Brook University at Joe Nathan Field at 3 p.m. They return to Veterans Park this weekend to take on Coppin State University. They hit the field on Friday at 3 p.m., Saturday at 1, and Sunday at noon. Men's lacrosse has their senior day on Saturday, April 6th at noon when they take on Wagner College at Campus Field. Men's volleyball will be taking on Long Island University at Friday, April 5th at 5 p.m. as well as Fairleigh Dickinson University on Saturday, April 6th at 5 p.m. Moving over to the tennis court, both the men's and women's Pioneers head to Northeastern Massachusetts also on April 6th to take on Stonehill College. Although it's been 2 weeks, let's not give a shout out to our women's basketball team on their second straight NEC championship. That's it for the SHU Sports Roundup. Be sure to go support your fellow Pioneers. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jake. Art can be presented in many forms. 3 professors at Sacred Heart University displayed the impact of art in Ireland through writing, painting, and photography on March 20th at an event called The Influence of Place on the Artistic Imagination. I attended the event and learned how these talents are thriving in the Sacred Heart community. In the week of March 18th to the 21st, Sacred Heart University's Irish Studies partnered with the School of Communication, Media, and the Arts for a week-long event focusing on tradition and complexity. Professor and author Marie Hume wrote a novel called Bridget's Peace, which is based on the Troubles in Belfast, Ireland. The main character, Bridget, escapes the Troubles and has to face her new life in Southern Ireland, while also living with the trauma from her past. Professor Hume shared readings from the book with the crowd and answered questions.
The genesis of this book really goes back to a trip I took to Belfast as a young girl. My grandfather and grandmother both had immigrated from Belfast at the turn of the last century, and they had left behind family who never saw them again. And when we were there on the trip, I met lots of young Irish children around my age, and it was just the start of the Troubles. Throughout my life, I always wondered what had happened to those children.
She was then joined by Professor Nathan Lewis and Professor Richard Falco to discuss how painting, photography, and writing influence artistic imaginations.
What they're going to have is an opportunity to become more aware, certainly, of Ireland and what's gone on historically, and the transition that has happened, because Ireland is certainly in a different place, as you can see from the early pictures that go back to the Troubles to where it is now. She became aware of the fact that I had done this new book on Ireland, and then I had already these images from the Troubles. And I thought that, wow, I could then contribute photos that show both sides of that in a way, you know, that helps the viewer understand the experience more.
Professor Hume displays her family's history, tradition, and culture not only from her book, but through her family's Irish soda bread that she shared with the crowd. She's proud that her book can also share a valuable message.
If somebody reads it and they can see that the issues and the questions that I raise in the novel are not black and white, that they're complex. I hope the novel is nuanced enough that people see it as addressing those questions that I've had on my heart for all these years about how we live in peace with people who we may fundamentally disagree with about things.
Reporting for The Pulse, this is Molly Jacob, Fairfield, Connecticut.
There's been a lot of drama happening recently in the entertainment industry. Isabella Giardina is going to break it all down for us in a new segment. Here's Isabella with Entertainment Experts.
Thanks, Brad. That's right. I'm here to cover all things happening in the entertainment world. There was a lot of speculation being made about where Kate Middleton, Princess of Wales, has been recently. Rumors have been swirling about Kate as people realize they hadn't seen her in public since Christmas. Shockingly, it has recently been announced that Kate has been diagnosed with cancer and is currently undergoing treatment.
In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment.
In light of these challenging circumstances, it's clear that Kate needs this time and space with her family to navigate through this difficult period. The first part of the investigation discovery documentary series, Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, premiered on March 17th, and it took the entertainment world by storm. It encompasses former child actors who allege a variety of abuses and toxic behavior on the sets of classic Nickelodeon TV shows. From claims of racism and bullying in workplaces to horrifying accounts of alleged sexual assault, The documentary suggests there was darkness behind all of the bright lights for these children.
And I said, "You will forever have the memory of sitting in this courtroom and defending this person. And I will forever have the memory of the person you're defending violating me."
There were over 16 million viewers that tuned into the docuseries, which is the largest audience for an unscripted series since Max launched. Ex-Nickelodeon producer Dan Schneider has broken silence after accusations of inappropriate and abusive behavior that were made against him in the series, saying, "Facing my past behaviors, some of which are embarrassing and that I regret," he said. "I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology." You can watch this series on many platforms like Hulu, Max, Discovery Plus, and more. Up next, we have The Bachelor. Last Monday, Kelsey Anderson emerged as the winner of The Bachelor in 2024, capturing the hearts of viewers everywhere. Following her success, Jan Tranks made history as the first Asian bachelorette, a groundbreaking moment for the franchise. Despite expectations, Maria Gorgas was not chosen as the bachelorette, leaving many fans surprised, even some disappointed. Daisy Kent, the first runner-up in this year's season, has been applauded for how she handled the situation and the girl supporting girls attitude she had at the end of the show.
You're not going to choose me. In the last couple of days, I realized that, you're not my person. And I know that you know it.
That's all I have for you this week, and back to you.
Well, that's showbiz.
That's all we have for you today. Professor Golda and Professor Alicastro, don't worry. You'll get your chance one day.
Be sure to tune into our next episode. I'm Brad Hutchison.
And I'm Molly Jacob. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching The Pulse.
Cheers to a great show.
Sometimes